Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to cover chapter 5 of this manhwa. Now in the last chapter, our corporate-minded protagonist Jo Hwi pulled off a massive gamble, securing a whopping 1,000 silver coin war chest and hiring an elite workforce with irresistible modern perks like overtime pay and paid weekend leave. But the clock is ticking. The Fire Dragon Merchant Group literally holds absolute power over his family's lives as collateral, and a business is only as good as its output. In Chapter 5, Jo Hwi officially launches his revolutionary Murim assembly line, breaks his traditional father's brain with basic economics, and sets his sights on a sponsor so massive that it makes the local authorities look like a joke. Let's dive straight into the action. The chapter hits the ground running inside the roaring, chaotic forge of the Jo clan's workshop. The entire facility is a symphony of rhythmic clanging and hammering echoing off the walls. But while Jo Hwi is playing the good cop, his father is playing the ultimate traditional Murim bad cop. The old craftsman is stalking through the heat, throwing absolute tantrums at the new recruits. When one exhausted worker tries to instinctively flinch away from a blast of heat, the father screams right in his face. You can't just look away because the fire is hot. Feel the heat with your whole body. Talk about an intense workplace safety seminar. He then rounds on another terrified rookie who is swinging his hammer like a madman barking. You're just ignorantly hitting that so it makes a lot of noise. The strength of your hammering can't vary. Hit the areas accurately with the same amount of strength. The worker frantically screams back, "I'll work hard," while praying he doesn't get turned into a casting mold himself. Meanwhile, a bright recruit shows some initiative by suggesting they omit a complex handle from a casting mold to save time, pointing out they can easily attach a cheap lumber handle afterward. The father loves the shortcut, praising him for learning beyond his teachings, which prompts the worker to blush and scratch his head happily. Jo Hwi watches his father bossing everyone around and jokes to himself, that status truly makes a person. He approaches the old man and asks for a quick status update, suggesting it's finally time to kick full-scale production into gear. His father immediately scoffs, crossing his arms. Humph, impossible, what can they produce with those skills? The quality of Jo clan's products isn't something easily attained. Jo Hwi tries to introduce a concept that gives every traditional perfectionist a heart attack: minimum viable product. He tells his dad that it's completely fine if the items only hit 70% of their original master quality. His father's eyes practically bug out of his head. 70%? No way, those men can't even reach 50% with their skills. This is where Jo Hwi drops some cold, hard 21st century reality on him. He pulls his dad aside and whispers a terrifying financial breakdown. They've already been training these rookies for 20 days. Between paying off the ruthless loan sharks, buying massive bulk ingots of iron, and covering the high food and living expenses for this army of workers, their 1,000 silvers are evaporating. Our silvers can only last for 10 days, Jo Hwi warns, his face completely pale. We'll seriously go under, we must really decide now. Realizing their literal lives are on the line, the father holds up 3 fingers and begs for a final deadline. 3 days. Just give me 3 more days. I'll at least have them imitate a craftsman within that time frame. Jo Hwi sighs and reluctantly agrees, warning him that this is officially their last extension. Cut to 3 days later, and the workshop undergoes a miraculous transformation. Thanks to the father's brutal bootcamp and Jo Hwi's hyper-optimized divided assembly line, the workers become a terrifyingly efficient corporate machine. Charcoal burners burn, stokers stoke, molders mold, and forgers forge in perfect harmony. By breaking the manufacturing process down into simple, repeatable steps, the results are absolutely staggering. In a single day, the workshop pumps out 22 giant iron plows. In less than 4 days, they hit 100 pieces. Jo Hwi picks up a freshly minted plow, marveling at how solid it looks. But behind him, his father is staring at the mountain of rapidly produced inventory, suffering a massive existential crisis. The old man falls to his knees, tears streaming down his face as lightning practically strikes in the background. His father says, "Give me back 40 years of my life. You should have told me earlier if you knew about this. I've been doing this alone all my life. It used to take me 4 days just to make one giant iron plow." Jo Hwi just chuckles and hits him with the classic IT manager response. "It's not too late to kick it off, you could start now." His father just buries his face in his hands, weeping about his broken back while Jo Hwi awkwardly tries to comfort him. Flash forward half a year later, the assembly line has been running non-stop and business is absolutely booming. How do we know? Because Jo Hwi is sitting in a lavish office, humming a happy little tune while sliding his feet into a premium pair of high-end, custom-made leather boots. He wiggles his toes and thinks to himself, well, this is quite comparable to an Air Max. Now that is what you call a proper 21st century capitalist flex in the middle of ancient Murim. While Hwi is busy enjoying his sneakerhead moment, his sharp new manager, Lee Yosong, enters the room to deliver the daily corporate reports. To keep up with their explosive growth, Jo Hwi has officially restructured the Jo clan's workshop into 3 highly specialized corporate divisions to maximize their efficiency. First up, we have the Decent building. This division consists of the original veteran members of the workshop. They are the heavy hitters responsible for manufacturing massive iron goods, things like large iron plows, security doors, and structural columns. Unsurprisingly, they are the undisputed top performers of the company, consistently bringing in the highest numbers and attracting the most sponsors. Next is the Sawson building, which is basically the rookie training ground. This division is made up entirely of the new recruits. They handle the production of smaller everyday farming equipment like shovels, sickles, hoes, pitchforks, and iron cores. Unfortunately for them, Manager Lee notes that their performance is currently a bit inadequate, as both their skill levels and overall worker tenacity are lagging behind the veterans. Finally, Jo Hwi introduces his pride and joy, the Jianghu building. This is the newly established tech-intensive research and development hub of the company. Instead of basic tools, this elite division focuses on high-margin, complex engineering products like high-security safes, intricate padlocks, commercial carriages, iron wheels, and stirrups. Hwi reviews the data, taps his desk, and looks over at his manager. He tells Manager Lee to bear these numbers in mind, but to specifically go down to the factory floor and give the struggling workers at the Sawson building a bit more encouragement to boost their drive and light a fire under them. Just as they finish up, Manager Lee mentions that a very special guest has been patiently waiting in the guest house for the past 2 hours for Jo Hwi to finish his shift. It's none other than the young master of the Fire Dragon Merchant Group, whom our MC affectionately calls by Hyunam, or as we know him, the Lee Jianghu lookalike. Hwi bolts out of his chair, scolding Lee for not telling him sooner, and runs to greet his business partner. They too sit down for tea, immediately trading friendly jabs. Jo Hwi teases him about their legendary drinking session 3 days prior, claiming he still feels nauseous from the Maodai liquor, while the young master aggressively insists he only lost the drinking game because the pub's specific alcohol didn't sit well with him, swearing he'll win the next match. Jo Hwi casually asking if he brought the promised funds. The young master scoffs, calling out Hwi's weird habit of calling him Jianghu Hyunam. He demands, "Who the hell is Jianghu?" Jo Hwi just smiles mysteriously, snacking on food, and replies, "He's just someone." But the playful banter quickly turns dead serious. The young master warns Jo Hwi that the sheer volume of cheap, high-quality Jo clan iron flooding the market over the last 6 months has become impossible to hide. They are moving hundreds of supply carts across Manhwa every single month. Unless they're a fool, there's no way people wouldn't know, the young master warns grimly. He explains that local blacksmiths and rival merchants have been united in protesting outside the Fire Dragon headquarters for a month, and it won't be long before they swarm the Jo clan workshop directly to protect their livelihoods. Even worse, corrupt government officials are like wild dogs, and if they storm the gates to investigate where Jo Hwi is sourcing his massive lumps of raw iron, the entire cornerstone of the workshop could disappear. Jo Hwi isn't rattled at all. He calmly pulls out his signature leather ledger, prompting the young master to mentally scream. He took out his book again. Jo Hwi drops a casual bombshell. "How much net revenue do you think I gained in a month from operating Jo clan's workshop? 600 silvers. Essentially 60 gold. The young master's jaw hits the floor. Even within his massive, established merchant group, very few individual branches pull in that kind of insane monthly net profit. Our MC then flashes a cold, predatory grin. He explains that he isn't a single bit afraid of the government officials because he has already been systematically and periodically bribing every single one of them to keep their mouths shut. As far as the Empire's law is concerned, the issue is completely settled through cold, hard cash. But then the atmosphere in the room completely shifts from corporate greed to absolute Murim dread. Jo Hwi looks at the young master with deadly serious eyes. The officials aren't the real problem. The people he is truly terrified of are the ones who intend to devour the Jo clan's workshop, the ruthless, lawless monsters of the Jianghu. The story takes a dark turn here as we get an epic look at the true nature of the Murim world. Jo Hwi explains that there are factions out there like the Iron Blood Group, vicious wild dogs who will go to horrifying lengths to achieve their interests. These are people who exist entirely free from the constraints of imperial law, individuals who can precisely point out their enemies while distinguishing perfectly between gratitude and resentment. If a lawless group like that finds out a small, defenseless family workshop is printing 60 gold coins a month, they will slaughter the Jo family. The young master anxiously nods along, realizing the danger. He advises Hwi that the faster this iron supply issue is resolved, the better. He suggests that Hwi's best bet is to try and directly follow Master Bang to secure a shield. But then he sighs, pointing out the harsh reality. He won't just sponsor a mere workshop. You'll have to find a connection with him as soon as possible. But Jo Hwi just smiles mysteriously. Master Bang, a mere local powerhouse? Please. Jo Hwi aims so high he's basically looking at the stars. He looks the young master dead in the eye and declares, "So now I've decided, I'll have the King of Anhui as my sponsor." The young master stares at him, completely paralyzed. "No way, are you?" he whispers, his face turning pale as paper. Jo Hwi grins and confirms his absolute madman target, Namgong. Cue the ultimate lore drop. We are talking about the South Palace, the great Namgong clan. This isn't just any martial arts family. This is a legendary powerhouse filled with elite disciples descended from the clans of the imperial family's own generals. They are the heavenly great swordsmen, widely recognized as the absolute best in the entire world and the great sword of the Central Plains. The mere name of the dwelling of swordsmen strikes pure, unadulterated terror into the hearts of the wicked. The heads of the 5 great clans, alongside their master swordsmen, are perpetually seated on the upper echelons of the entire Jianghu hierarchy. They are untouchable, godlike figures who exist completely above the law. The chapter ends on an absolute peak cliffhanger as the camera pans back to the young master. The poor guy is shaking uncontrollably, his teeth chattering, and his face is completely drenched in a river of cold sweat. He looks at Jo Hwi like he's looking at a lunatic who just suggested they go look for a pet dragon and gasps out, "Brother, do you even think that's possible?" And that wraps up Chapter 5. Jo Hwi has officially turned his bankrupt family forge into a 60 gold a month industrial powerhouse, completely breaking his father's spirit with the power of modern automation. But now, the sharks are circling, and his grand plan to survive involves aggressively knocking on the front door of the most dangerous, elite sword clan in the entire Murim. What do you guys think of Hwi's insane plan to recruit the Namgong clan as his personal corporate muscle? Can a handful of cheap iron plows really buy the loyalty of the world's greatest swordsman? Let me know your theories in the comments section down below. If you're hyped to see Jo Hwi attempt to pitch a business proposal to a family of legendary killers, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Legends Whisper, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss Chapter 6. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.